Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. We are very happy to be here with you today. My name is Ela Karvik.
And I'm Alexander Lemle.
And we are the creators and owners of a natural cosmetic brand. Our brand name is Be the Sky Girl, and this is actually a wonderful name, brand name. And while being a brand name, it's also a statement of our mission and what we want to achieve with our cosmetics. Because, you know, the idea staying behind Be the Sky Girl is that we want to empower women and that we want to give them, with our natural cosmetics, we want to give them the mission, the message that they can fly in their lives, they can do whatever they want. So we want to be with them while they're doing that.
This idea is also important for us personally,
Yes,
because this is part of our story as well. And we are friends for ages. And we do this business together. So sometimes people call us Sky Girls.
some of them mix them with Spice Girls even, but we really prefer Sky Girls.
Sky Girls is better, yeah.
Okay. The subject of today's presentation is innovation and trends in cosmetic business, and why we think that sky is not the limit anymore. Basically, this is our favorite statement, that sky is not the limit. We don't say that sky is the limit. Sky is not the limit. We are going to have this presentation together with Mrs. Anna Oborska, the General Director of Polish Association of Cosmetics and Detergent Industry. And therefore, we do hope this presentation will be a very well balanced mix of practice, because we are really into that business every day, and also a bit of legislation and the regulations, and that will be later delivered by Anna.
So we just start.
Yes, let's start.
The first trend that we are going to discuss today, which is also crucial to our business, is huge comeback to nature. This trend is not only in cosmetics, it's in all the areas of life and business. For example, we can see this in food, supplements, healthcare, clothes or design. So, why are people back to nature?
Yes, that's a good question. You know, people are back to nature because their awareness is rising. Okay, they see that the usage of aggressive chemicals is bad both to their bodies and to the environment, so that they are searching for alternatives to come back to natural stuff. You know, when you ask Uncle Google,
yes,
we very often ask Uncle Google, he knows everything. When you ask Uncle Google how big the cosmetic market is, you see that the global cosmetic market is said to be at the level of $34 billion. And what is even more important, that this is a really growing market, because the growth rate estimation is around 5% every year onwards. So you may ask, if is it big, 5% or not? Well, if you go into more details and you look into particular markets that are developing very fast, you notice that this rate of growth is even higher. For example, in the US, it's estimated at the level of 9%, and on our field, in our country, it is said to be even 40%, 40%. So, you know, this is something unstoppable. This is going to continue and to increase. The trend of naturality is everywhere. Even big brands are issuing their natural lines.
So, what does it really mean to be natural? There is an definition of naturality? This is
that's a difficult question, because actually the problem is that there is no legally binding, accepted by everyone, definition of naturality. So the consumer sometimes may feel lost and may feel that really may be affected by the greenwashing. So companies stating that they are natural, but they are actually not. Some help in that respect can be the standard setters and the eco-labeling organizations that basically you go, you pay them, and they check your ingredients, and they state if you are natural or not and give you a label. But this is the problem with that is that, first of all of those organizations have different criteria, slightly different. Of course, they try to unify themselves under the Cosmos initiative, but still, basically not all organizations follow that rules. And the second issue with that is that it costs a lot to get this certificate. So sometimes for companies that are smaller, the indie brands are not capable of paying that money. So a real breakthrough on the market was the introduction of ISO standard 16128 that gave a very clear guidance on how to calculate the percentage of natural ingredients, organic ingredients. So this was a really good thing because it set the set of criteria that allowed for comparisons of particular products. But again, the issue is that it's not a binding law, so you can follow that.
So we hope that this standard is going to become to a base for legal regulation in particular countries. This is very important.
Yeah, we do hope it will come one day into the legal regulations. Okay.
The next trend that we see on market is veganism, and is the big wish to create cruelty-free world.
Yes, the cruelty-free world is our biggest dream recently. And you know, again, why it's happening that people are turning into veganism? When you see the reasons why people are doing that, you can observe that, you know, again, this is a result of growing awareness of people. But what you can see is that majority of them are concerned with their own health because people understand that eating too much meat is harmful to them. The second reason for going into veganism is also the concern for the environment because, you know, meat industry is bringing a lot of contamination to the environment, and people start to understand it, and they don't want simply to participate in that. And the third reason, also the ethical reason, is that simply what we are doing to animals is bringing them a lot of cruelty and a lot of, it's not good. So people are turning into veganism. And again, if you ask Uncle Google how big this vegan population is, the answer is that it's only 75 million vegans in the world.
Only.
Yes, you may think it's only, but when you see and when you look into the details, you see that basically the dynamics of this group is really huge. And for example, in the United States, in 2016, there were 0.5% of people who declared to be vegans, whereas in 2020, this vegan population increased to 6%. So you see that this is again an unstoppable movement. And what is also very funny and interesting is that most of vegans are women. It's said that more than 70% of vegans are women. So again, we have a very direct link to cosmetics because this is women who buy cosmetics. So this will be the next trend impacting and influencing the purchase decisions of the customers.
The next very important subject for our cosmetics industry is packaging. But what is the ideal packaging? How do you think? This is like unicorn.
This is like a searching for unicorn, really. From the perspective of the producer of the company that is making cosmetics, it looks like that it has several requirements, and sometimes they are very contradictory to each other. So we really need to search for the unicorn. Because on one way, the packaging needs to be safe. This is the basic requirement. It needs to be safe, and it needs to contain the cosmetic without any leakages. So,
and marketing.
Yes, so it needs to have the barrier function. Second of all, it needs to convey your marketing message, what you want to say to the customers. It needs to attract the customers, so it needs to be beautiful, colorful, full of information, of energy. What is next is that it needs to be, maybe cheap is not the right word, but basically it needs to be accessible, and it needs to be, accessible for all types of companies, big and small. So in terms also of the MOQs, it needs to be accessible. And the recently very, very important point in decision about packaging is also that it needs to be eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And this is really a huge discussion. Why? Because we used to have a years of hegemony of plastic. Yeah. And plastic is fantastic, yes.
Sometimes.
Plastic is fantastic because it gives you a lot of those features that I mentioned before.
It's not heavy.
Yes, it's not heavy. It's very nice looking. It's colorful. You can shape it in different colors. It's safe. It gives you the barrier function. But it led to the situation when our earth is contaminated and polluted, and we urgently need to do something with that.
So, if not plastic, then what?
Yes, that's the good question.
Maybe glass?
Maybe glass, in search for a real eco packaging, when we consider the glass is on one hand, it's wonderful because it allows for recycling. It's recycled fully without any losses. But on the other hand, when you go deeper and when you look into the so-called environmental footprint of the glass, then you see that, this environmental footprint basically reflects all the consequences of the given type of packaging that are given to the environment. So how much water it consumes, how much energy it consumes to produce it, how much CO2 it costs to deliver the packaging to the end customer, how much energy it takes to recycle it. Then if you take this whole energy and water, then you see that the cost of plastic is really, really high for the environment. So
how about paper, maybe?
Yeah, paper. Paper, on the other hand, it's very good. It's easy recyclable. It's easy to produce. Print. Yes, it's not that heavy to. It doesn't consume so much energy. But if you really wanted to recycle it, then it loses. It doesn't have the basic function that we expect from cosmetic packaging. It doesn't have the barrier function. If you put the cream with water into the paper packaging, then it will simply soak. So it's not that way. We did a lot of research because we wanted to provide our customers with a real alternative to plastic.
Yes,
and
for real
after investigation, and after having said what I said just about the environmental footprints of all other types of packaging, we made a research on the market, and we found some very, very innovative startups doing research and development in the area of making packaging from kelp.
From ocean?
Yes, from the ocean. So they take out algae out of the ocean and they make packaging with that. This is a wonderful, wonderful project. However, it's at the very, very early stage, and it will cost a lot. So actually, again, it will not be accessible for smaller companies. But we once read statistics saying that these are 100 biggest companies that are producing 70% of the rubbish in the world. So if they introduce this technology, then the world will be a better place. Yes. And smaller companies could also benefit from that and follow that steps.
Very, very nice idea.
Yes.
So what we can do to save world from the rubbish?
Yeah,
and
whatever,
we do something very fast because
the tax office is knocking at our door. Look, the fact is that there was a new law regulated on the European market, and it starts to operate from 2021. And what we are going to face is the tax on plastic. It's not yet stated whether we as producer will pay that tax or whether this tax will be paid from the budget of the state. However, this is something that will affect us this way or the other. So we need to do something very quickly with the packaging. We need to find some reasonable solution. And
But we know that is one place.
yes, that's, because if you ask what to do, how should we operate, we should think and we should look at that from the, higher point of view. And we really love this zero waste rules that say that we should reduce the idea of 3R, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And you may think it's an utopia to have a zero waste society, but it's actually not. You know that there is a place in Japan, very small town called Kamikatsu, where people agreed that they will follow zero waste rules. And they started in 2003, and now in 2020, they are a really zero waste society. So it is possible, but it requires a lot of work and a lot of consciousness and the common work of all the parties to have a better world, simply.
So now let's move from nature to business. Let's go online.
Yes.
Yes, this is very important trend. In this pandemic time is the most important trend. And even Cosmoprof.
Yes,
now
we are now meeting online. A year ago, no one really thought that could be possible on that scale. That we will convert and we will move all the meetings online.
Online. Yeah.
So we are really thankful for that. So but this is also reflected on the level of sales statistic. Here you have a bit of statistic. You can see that basically what is clearly visible from nowadays is that we have a huge increase in online sales. Year to year, it's estimated in the US at the level of more than 40%. And what is even more important is the shift from desktop to mobile. So more than 50% of transactions are generated with mobiles. So that's really a trend. That's going to continue because people staying in those COVID reality are simply working out their habits. And when we see how easy it is to buy online, then nobody else wants to come back to traditional. Maybe not nobody else, because we love to meet in person. But basically, yes, this would be a habit to make online shopping.
Yes, and social media. This is very important part of this.
Yes, because it is said this online world is having its own rules, and it's said that basically
maybe we look for statistic.
Yes, statistics basically are saying, and if you go to a marketing agency, they will tell you, go and find influencers. They will promote your products. You will be able to sell more. And we investigated if that's really true, if it's really worthy to be or to cooperate with the YouTubers, influencers, and TikTokers. The statistics are saying actually quite different things. When you look at that, you see that only 15% of people, of followers, are influenced, or really, this is the motivation for them to buy the product that is recommended by the influencer. So only 15%. Why it's happening?
Yeah, we don't trust them. Of course, they are like notice board. One day they recommend your cosmetics, and next day maybe this is instant soup. So
we don't treat them. We don't treat them seriously. We don't treat those influencers seriously, because a great part of them is simply marketing everything all the time, and you simply don't know what they really think. So what could be a solution in that case? We see basically two solutions. First of all, search for right influencers. Search for the influencers that are feeling your values, the values of your brand, that are honest and that are sometimes, outstanding in terms of their honesty, so that they openly communicate what they think, no matter what is the product. And basically, if they are coherent with your values, if they love your brand, then They will be able to do this efficiently. Second thing, this is even more important for us, is basically the recommendation of your satisfied customers. Deliver your product in the way that they will love you. And if you have satisfied customers, then you will have more sales, which is also, if you come back to this chart, you see that 41% of customers decided to buy something because it was recommended by the other customers, and they were looking at their opinion and they were making their own decision based on that. So just be outstanding, just over-deliver to your customers, make them love you, and then you will have bigger sales.
But what does it mean to be good?
Yes,
Who is the king?
The queen.
Or rager, queen of the quality?
Yes, this is the next trend that we observe, that more and more companies are turning into being good. And what do we understand by saying good? Basically, this is the very, very broad definition of quality, because the definition of quality is not only relating to the product itself, because
not
it's
nice
not only
ingredients.
not only nice ingredients and the mixture of ingredients, the percentage of ingredients. We are not discussing only about active ingredients. We are telling also about how you treat your customers, whether you're in touch with your customers, whether they can share with you their opinions on the product. It's both very positive and those negatives. How do you react to that? Are you in touch with your distributors? Do they know your values? Can they sell the products? Because if they don't know your values, they cannot sell your product. Do you take care for your suppliers? So you need to take care for all the chain, all the people engaged, and start treat them like people, and not only like customers that are bringing you money. If you treat people like people, then
you will be Lovemark. This is our big dreams.
Yeah, this is our big dream, to become a Lovemark, and I think that everybody wants to do this, but it requires a lot of work and coherence, and it's a really hard job, but it's also an adventure, and it's a wonderful thing, and all you need is love. And this,
but not least.
This is not least for us. Actually, this is the starting point and the basis, and something that we have deeply, deeply in our heart. You know, Be the Sky Girl, our brand is based on this Girlhood Rules.
This is a big
statement.
idea.
Yes, this is like, you know, I told you that our dream is to empower women, to give them the power and the courage to fly in their lives. So we think that cosmetics are a perfect way to do this. It's like they are a quiet companion that you put in your bathroom in the morning, and that is saying to you, don't worry, everything will be okay. You are a sky girl. You will manage. If you can't find the sunshine outside, just search it in your heart.
And remember, darling, 40 is new 20. This
is our favorite saying. And age is a state of mind. And these are what our cosmetics are telling to people, to girls. And this is our dream, that we are really their companions and that we are conveying this message to them. Okay.
So, thank you a lot.
Yes, we were flying. Now let's come back to Earth, because Earth has also its rules
and remember,
that needs to be followed. Yes, yes.
Sky is not the limit.
Sky is not the limit, but remember that Earth also has its rules. So we are giving floor to Anna Oborska, and she will tell you more about regulations and declarations that are possible, that are not possible. And from that place, we want to say great thanks to Anna and to her team, and to the whole association. For the support we receive every day, because to be an entrepreneur and to be, you know, soaked in all those regulations and new laws, there's no way we could read all those acts. So they produce us an executive summary so that we know what to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We give floor to Anna.